200 million years ago, Earth was a scarred and desolate realm, slowly beginning to mend after the most catastrophic extinction event in its long history. The Great Dying, as it would later be known, had wiped out an estimated 90% of all life, leaving behind a planet profoundly altered. Vast swathes of land and ocean lay silent, a stark testament to the sheer destructive power unleashed across the globe, a period of unparalleled biological devastation that reset the evolutionary clock. Yet, from the ashes of this cataclysm, a fragile thread of existence persisted. The few species that managed to cling to life found themselves in a world stripped bare, a blank canvas awaiting new forms. Survival demanded extreme resilience and rapid adaptation. What remained were the tough, the lucky, and the incredibly adaptable. These would be the foundational architects of an entirely new age, an era where the struggle for dominance would become exceptionally brutal, shaping the very definition of a predator. The supercontinent Pangaea sprawled across the Earth's surface, a colossal landmass stretching from pole to pole, dominating the planet's geography. Its immense size created extreme weather patterns, far beyond anything seen today. Violent megastorms scoured the landscapes, while relentless volcanic eruptions spewed ash and toxic gases into the atmosphere, painting the skies in ominous hues. This was a world still reeling, still in geological flux, a landscape of raw, untamed power. Heat was another constant companion, with vast deserts baking under an unforgiving sun, punctuated by torrential monsoons. The planet simmered, its internal forces still violently active, evidence of the colossal geological stresses that had contributed to the Great Dying. This tumultuous environment presented an unprecedented challenge for any organism seeking to thrive, demanding unparalleled hardiness and the ability to endure ceaseless, chaotic change. With the widespread extinction, the old rulers of the Permian had vanished without a trace. Synapsids, the mammal-like reptiles that once commanded the land, were largely gone. Their ancient thrones, once occupied by formidable beasts, now stood vacant. Ecosystems, once intricate and balanced, lay unguarded, their delicate structures shattered, creating an immense power vacuum across every corner of the recovering world. The highest echelons of the food chain were empty. For millions of years, the mantle of apex predator had been clearly defined, passed down through established lineages. But now, for the first time in an epoch, the crown of dominance was entirely unclaimed. This unprecedented void presented a colossal opportunity, a biological free-for-all, where the rules were being rewritten. Any creature with the right adaptations, the right ferocity, could potentially seize control, ushering in an era of rapid, cutthroat ascension. In the deep shadows cast by the recent extinction, where life had been purged on an unimaginable scale, the surviving species faced an accelerated pace of evolution. Every genetic advantage, however subtle, was rigorously tested. Those creatures possessing beneficial mutations for hunting, evasion, or endurance quickly flourished, passing on their traits to the next generation, driving an explosive burst of diversification and specialization among the resilient survivors. Natural selection became an even more ruthless sculptor, carving out ever more efficient forms with brutal efficiency. The weak perished swiftly, while the strong thrived and reproduced. This relentless pressure forced organisms to adapt at incredible speed, pushing the boundaries of what was possible, refining their physiologies for a world where only the most perfectly adapted could hope to prosper. It was a forge for future legends, shaping the very essence of survival. From this crucible of rapid change, a new lineage emerged, destined to define the coming age, the archosaurs. These remarkable reptiles, characterized by unique ankle structures and upright stances, quickly rose to prominence. They were the evolutionary progenitors of an astonishing array of creatures, including the powerful crocodiles that would later dominate waterways, the agile pterosaurs that would conquer the skies, and, most famously, the colossal dinosaurs. The archosaurs rapidly diversified, spreading across the vast landscapes of Pangaea. Their robust body plans and efficient metabolisms gave them a distinct advantage over other surviving reptile groups. They became the undisputed dominant life forms on land, evolving into a myriad of shapes and sizes, from small, agile insectivores to truly massive, fearsome carnivores. Their ascension marked a pivotal shift in Earth's biological hierarchy, setting the stage for an era of giants. Among the earliest and most formidable of these emerging predators were the rauisuchians, a group of massive, crocodile-like archosaurs that truly ruled the land before dinosaurs made their mark. Beasts like Postosuchus, with its robust skull, powerful limbs, and bipedal tendencies, stalked the primeval forests and plains. These were the true kings of their time, towering over anything that dared to cross their path, asserting undisputed authority. Other rauisuchians, like the fearsome Saurosuchus, could reach lengths of over 7 meters, dominating their environments with sheer bulk and raw power. They were faster, taller, and possessed a terrifying predatory efficiency, making them the apex hunters of the Triassic period. Their massive jaws, lined with serrated teeth, were capable of delivering bone-crushing bites, ensuring their reign as the most terrifying creatures of the evolving landscapes. These magnificent predators were far more imposing than the early dinosaurs, which at this time remained comparatively small and vulnerable. Rauisuchians represented the zenith of predatory evolution for their epoch, perfectly adapted to hunt and kill the largest herbivores of the Triassic. They moved with a fearsome combination of speed and power, embodying the very essence of a legendary predator, unrivaled in their territorial supremacy and lethal prowess. The early dinosaurs, in stark contrast, were diminutive and unassuming. They lived on the margins of this perilous world, overshadowed by the mighty rauisuchians. These protodinosaurs were often no larger than dogs, scuttling through the undergrowth, seeking to avoid the colossal shadows cast by the true masters of the age. Their survival depended on stealth, speed, and remaining inconspicuous, a humble beginning for creatures destined for greatness. Vulnerable and relatively unspecialized, these nascent dinosaurs occupied ecological niches that allowed them to avoid direct confrontation with the dominant predators. They were the underdogs, the observers, learning the brutal rules of this new world from a safe distance. Their existence was one of constant vigilance, adapting strategies of evasion and opportunism while the giants above them battled for supremacy, a precarious existence. On the fringes of power. Across every emerging lineage of predators, the evolutionary arms race intensified, forging ever more lethal weapons of survival. Teeth sharpened into razors, designed for tearing flesh, crushing bone, and delivering fatal blows. Jaws became more powerful, equipped with interlocking fangs, or shearing blades, capable of ripping through the toughest hides. Each iteration brought greater efficiency, turning a mere bite into a catastrophic event for prey. Claws, too, lengthened and hardened, evolving into formidable grappling hooks and piercing daggers. These specialized appendages allowed predators to secure their struggling prey, disembowel them with savage precision, or scale difficult terrain in pursuit. Muscles across their bodies grew stronger, denser, providing the explosive power needed for lightning-fast ambushes, relentless pursuit, and the sheer brute force required to subdue formidable victims. Skeletal structures became lighter yet more robust, supporting these enhanced musculature, creating perfectly engineered killing machines. Every aspect of their anatomy was honed, refined, and perfected through generations of ruthless natural selection. From the tip of their snarling snout to the flick of their powerful tail, these predators were biological instruments of death, designed for ultimate efficiency. In a world where only the fiercest survived. In a radical new development, some predators began to experiment with coordinated hunting strategies, giving birth to the concept of the pack. Instead of relying solely on individual strength, these pioneers of cooperation worked together, overwhelming prey through synchronized attacks and cunning tactics. This communal approach provided an unprecedented advantage, allowing them to tackle creatures far larger and more dangerous than a lone hunter could manage. The birth of pack hunters marked a significant evolutionary leap, transforming the dynamics of pursuit and capture. Through a combination of communication, coordinated movement, and sheer numbers, they could encircle, herd, and exhaust their quarry. This collective intelligence and synchronized aggression redefined predatory efficiency, demonstrating that sometimes the greatest weapon was not just individual power, but the collective will and coordinated might of a hunting group. While giants roamed the land and oceans teemed with ancient hunters, another frontier opened to death: the skies. The first pterosaurs, marvels of early flight, took to the air, becoming Earth's earliest aerial predators. With wings formed from a membrane of skin stretching from an elongated fourth finger to their ankles, they soared above the chaos, masters of a dimension previously untouched by vertebrate life, expanding the predatory reach exponentially. These pioneering flyers diversified rapidly, evolving specialized beaks and teeth for snatching fish from the water, plucking insects from the air, or even preying on small land animals. Their lightweight, hollow bones and powerful wing muscles allowed for efficient, sustained flight, turning the vast expanse of the Triassic sky into a new and terrifying hunting ground. Pterosaurs were truly groundbreaking, forever altering the ecological balance of the planet. Beneath the turbulent skies and across the vast expanses of Pangaea, the ancient oceans teemed with equally formidable hunters. Ichthyosaurs, with their sleek, dolphin-like bodies and powerful caudal fins, sliced through the water with unparalleled speed and agility. Evolving streamlined forms built for relentless pursuit, they were perfectly adapted for life in the open seas, chasing down shoals of fish and cephalopods with deadly precision. Alongside ichthyosaurs, a diverse array of other marine reptiles, such as the long-necked plesiosaurs and the agile nothosaurs, staked their claims in the oceanic realm. These creatures developed unique hunting strategies, from ambush predation among rocky coastlines to open ocean pursuit. Their powerful flippers, sharp teeth, and keen senses made them undisputed rulers of the primeval waves, defining a new age of aquatic terror and ensuring no corner of the planet was safe. Every environment, from the baking deserts of Pangaea to the churning depths of the Triassic seas, was hostile, unforgiving, and saturated with danger. Survival was a constant, grueling test of wits and brawn, a relentless struggle for existence where peace was a fleeting illusion. Each rustle in the undergrowth, every shadow across the water, signified a potential threat or an elusive opportunity, demanding ceaseless vigilance from every living thing. For both predator and prey, survival depended on an acute awareness of their surroundings, a hair-trigger aggression, and an astonishing capacity for adaptation. Complacency was a death sentence. The Triassic was a world of constant fear, a biological pressure cooker that refined instincts, sharpened senses, and rewarded only the most alert, the most vicious, and the most adaptable. It was a brutal curriculum for life in the ultimate predator's playground. While the large rauisuchians dominated, early dinosaurs continued their quiet, evolutionary ascent, learning to endure in the shadows. They began to evolve lighter, often hollowed-out skeletons, a crucial innovation that drastically reduced their body weight without sacrificing strength. This adaptation provided enhanced agility and speed, allowing them to move with a grace and efficiency that many of their more ponderous contemporaries simply could not match. Furthermore, early dinosaurs developed more efficient modes of movement, with many adopting a bipedal stance that freed their forelimbs for grasping or balance. This enabled them to conserve energy and travel greater distances in search of food or to escape danger. These subtle yet profound physiological advantages allowed dinosaurs to survive and even thrive in conditions where other, more specialized creatures, particularly the massive rauisuchians, eventually failed to adapt. As the Triassic period progressed, the delicate balance of Earth's ecosystems began to shift, profoundly impacting the reigning predators. Shifting global climates brought about erratic weather patterns, altering vegetation zones and disrupting the food chains that sustained the massive rauisuchians. Prolonged droughts followed by extreme flooding destabilized their habitats, making it increasingly difficult for these giants to find consistent prey and resources. Compounding these climatic changes, ongoing volcanic activity continued to reshape the landscape and atmosphere. While a constant presence, certain intense periods released vast quantities of gases and ash, further stressing the environment. These combined pressures destabilized the very ecosystems upon which the large, specialized predators depended, slowly eroding their dominance and presenting insurmountable challenges to their survival in a world growing increasingly unpredictable. Unable to adapt fast enough to the rapidly changing conditions, the early kings of the land, the magnificent rauisuchians and other massive archosaur predators, slowly began to vanish. Their specialized adaptations, once their greatest strength in stable environments, became their undoing in a world of flux. Their immense size, which had previously guaranteed their supremacy, now made them vulnerable to dwindling food supplies and habitat fragmentation. The Triassic-Jurassic extinction event, though less devastating than the Great Dying, delivered the final blow to many of these iconic predators. Unable to outcompete the more agile and adaptable dinosaurs in the face of widespread environmental collapse, their populations dwindled, lineage by lineage, until they were no more. The first legends of the predatory world faded into the fossil record, their formidable reign brought to an end by the relentless march of geological and climatic change. As the legendary predators of the Triassic slowly disappeared, leaving vast ecological niches empty, a crucial opportunity arose. The vacuum they left behind was immense, a blank space at the top of the food chain, ripe for a new power to claim. It was in this moment of dramatic transition, amidst the remnants of the old guard, that the unassuming dinosaurs, with their inherent adaptability and innovative forms, began to step boldly into the void, sensing a colossal shift in power. The age of the old hunters, with their formidable but ultimately inflexible reign, was drawing to a close. Their time at the apex was fading into history, a testament to how even the most dominant species can be swept away by environmental upheaval. A new order, however, was not merely rising to fill the gap, it was actively shaping itself, driven by the intense pressures of survival and opportunity. This was the dawn of a new dynasty, waiting to be unleashed. With the competition diminished and ecological niches now wide open, dinosaurs rapidly diversified and grew in size. Larger, faster, and demonstrably more intelligent forms began to emerge, evolving quickly to fill the void left by their predecessors. These were the first true apex dinosaurs, inheriting the coveted role of top predator, not just by default, but through superior adaptation, agility, and a nascent cunning that set them apart. The first giant predatory dinosaurs, such as Coelophysis and Dilophosaurus, while still smaller than the Rauisuchians that preceded them, possessed anatomical advantages that made them exceptionally effective hunters. Their bipedal locomotion allowed for impressive speed and maneuverability, while their sharp teeth and powerful claws were perfectly suited for seizing and tearing apart prey. This new breed of predator was lean, efficient, and poised to dominate. Though the early Triassic predators, the magnificent Rauisuchians and their kin, were eventually forgotten by time, their legacy was profound. Their evolutionary innovations, their methods of hunting, and their very existence as apex predators laid crucial foundations. These forgotten legends carved out the blueprint for large-scale carnivory, setting the ecological stage and establishing the environmental pressures that would ultimately shape every hunter that followed in their colossal footsteps. These pioneering carnivores, despite their eventual demise, provided an essential chapter in the story of life on Earth. They were the evolutionary testing ground, the initial architects of dominance in a post-extinction world. Their successes and failures, their formidable adaptations, and their ultimate inability to withstand changing climates were all vital lessons, paving the way for the next generation of apex predators to emerge, stronger and more adaptable. 200 million years ago, a truly brutal and unforgiving era witnessed the birth of legendary predators. These formidable creatures, emerging from the ashes of global catastrophe, were forged in the crucible of extreme environmental change and relentless competition. They were the first to reclaim the vacant thrones, establishing the fierce rules of a new biological order and pioneering the art of large-scale predation in a world reborn from devastation. These early legends were more than just temporary rulers, they were the evolutionary architects of dominance, meticulously crafting the strategies, physical forms, and ecological roles that would define future carnivores. Their fierce reign, their struggle, and their ultimate fall were critical chapters in Earth's history, not merely footnotes. They established the very foundations upon which all subsequent powerful hunters would build their own empires. Their time on Earth, though ultimately overshadowed by what came next, was a vital preparatory phase. The very challenges they faced, the adaptations they developed, and the niches they carved out, all contributed to the evolutionary pressure cooker that honed and refined life on Pangaea. They were the crucial, often overlooked predecessors, the fierce and powerful catalysts that ensured the stage was perfectly set for the grand spectacle that would eventually unfold. Ultimately, the reign of these formidable, forgotten titans provided the essential proving ground for the lineage destined to become Earth's most iconic rulers. It was their early existence, their competitive pressure, and their eventual disappearance that created the exact conditions necessary for their successors to thrive. They were the reason dinosaurs, once small and vulnerable, would one day rise to rule the world, becoming the most celebrated predators in history. Thus, the saga of the Triassic period concludes not as an end, but as a pivotal beginning. The dawn of these legendary predators, their rise, and their fall, was an indispensable act in the grand play of evolution. Their legacy, though often unseen, flows through the veins of every subsequent hunter. A testament to the enduring power of adaptation and the relentless, cyclical nature of dominance and succession in Earth's magnificent and brutal story.